The other questions I think many of our audience would like to know is that you probably have touched on earlier, but just to reiterate, is that after setting up this company, many of the clients are sometimes worried about, John, now that I have this company set up, buying this under a company name, how easy is it for me to actually secure a loan? Will the bank in UK still continue to lend us, and how do they access us? Do they access us as a company or access us individually as a shareholder?
It's a great question. It's probably the most common asked question I get asked as well. Simply financing is very readily available. I mentioned earlier that there was sort of over 30,000 companies that bought property and that took out financing last year alone. So in terms of getting financing, it's relatively simple. In terms of different lenders, like in your own personal name, actually, each one has their own different criteria, own different circumstances, and essentially the same thing exists. Probably the most common approach, though, is the underwriting process remains exactly the same. So the lender will just underwrite the shareholders. So they would look at proof of ID, proof of address, and probably income of the individual shareholders. And then all that changes is the name on the mortgage deed and indeed the title deed of the property. Instead of the name of the individuals would be the name of the limited company.
Okay.
There are some other lenders that do operate slightly differently, where essentially they don't profile the shareholders. They just look at the company and they very much work on a rental valuation approach, and that's essentially it. So there are different scenarios for different lenders. It tends to be those lenders that have a slightly more risk-adverse approach, we say, and they ask for a bit more information. They tend to be the ones that offer the most competitive rates. So it may be a case, again, talking to individuals and working out what's the best solution for them. We partner with a couple of independent mortgage brokers who have helped with many of our clients, and again, they would be best placed to essentially establish which solution is best for that client. But getting finance, typically up to 75% loan to value, as is a maximum, is very readily available.
Yeah, so it's still 75% loan to value available buying through a company structure.